on the Silurian period, which was 440 million years ago to 410 million years ago.
Our first section is geological time. Next, we'll talk about continents and climate, then life in the Silurian period, and finally, important events in the period.
The first section we are going to talk about is geological time. This section is going to be about the two periods before and after the Silurian period and how it affected the Silurian period.
505 million years ago was the Ordovician period, where there was major glaciation that resulted in the rise of sea levels in the Silurian period. After the Silurian period was the Devonian period, where there was an increase in temperature and the first signs of forests.
The next section we are going to talk about is explaining the position of the continents as well as the climate during the Silurian period. The supercontinent Gondwana drifted southward and covered most of the southern latitudes, while much of the northern half of the planet was ocean with two smaller continents, Laurentia and Baltica, located near the equator. And then there was also the continent Avalonia, which drifted from the northern edge of Gondwana to further northward. Beginning in the late Ordovician period and continuing throughout the Silurian period and into the Devonian period, the three northern continents collided, forming the new supercontinent Euramerica. This collision resulted in major mountain-building events.
So for climate, during the Silurian period, the climate was relatively stable, which allowed for the first plants to colonize. There was also large melting of glacial formations resulting in the rise of sea levels. And the Silurian period had major mountain building events in which land masses collided to create mountain chains.
The third section that we are going to talk about would be about the different forms of life during the Silurian period. We also talk specifically about fungi and plants. So here it talks about the dominant life forms. So first for fungi, it would be the Tortotubus. And for the fish, it would be, so they were both jawless, and later on there was the fish with the jaw, and that fish was called the Entolognathus. And as you can see in the image, that is the fish. And next would be squid, which was the Sphuceras. And finally, there is vascular plant, which was the Cooksonia. So this slide is dedicated to fungi, and it says that Tortopus was one of the earliest fungi dating back 440 million years ago. It spanned about 70 million years, and they vanished 350 million years ago when the first trees started to tower. So fungi eat by releasing enzymes that break down organic matter. They take the nutrients they need to grow while helping the rest decompose. The enzymes that fungi produce can eat into solid rock. The fungi, with help from erosion, can weaken rocky earth and eventually form fertile soil that plants grow in. Due to fungi, vascular plants can grow.
Because of the presence of fungi in the Silurian period, vascular plants started to grow. Scientists believe that the first land plants used symbiotic fungi in their roots. Plants today have little white hairs on their roots called hyphae, which makes the soil more arable. The way to tell fungi and plants apart is by the carbon ratio in the plant or fungi.
So the next section we are going to talk about is going to be about the big events and the important events which occurred during the Silurian period. We also explain different fossils and what we would bring with us if we could go to the Silurian period. So this is going to talk about the important events during the Silurian period. So first, there's the fish. Like mentioned before, towards the end of the Silurian period, about 419 million years ago, a new type of fish learned to bite back. Jawed fish, such as Entolognathus, appeared in the seas, equipped with biting power, and they were also able to attack prey easier unlike the jawless fish. Next is vascular plants. So fossils of early vascular plants such as Cooksonia first appeared from rocks, as well as the fossils or terrestrial fungi. The Silurian closed with its own minor extinction events, likely because of the drops in sea level that caused many bottom-dwelling species, particularly cephalopods, to die out.
For marine life and climate, the land masses which would become Western North America was under shallow ocean for most of the Silurian period, which in turn, the shallow waters enabled sunlight to penetrate, and marine life underwent rapid differentiation. During the Silurian period, the climate was generally warm and stable, in contrast with the other two periods that we've mentioned before. In the 1800s, paleontologists discovered a fossil from the Silurian period, one which was, when alive, was 8 feet tall. They named it the Prototaxius, and many scientists argued if it was a type of plant or algae. In the 1900s, Arthur Harry Church found out that these fossils were actually fungi, saying that due to the fact that the carbon ratios were varying, which implied that the prototaxites feasted on dead organisms and was in fact a type of fungi. So if you were to travel back in time to the Silurian period, the first item we would probably bring would be a camera, and we just mainly wanted it to take pictures and document all the things that we see. The second thing we would probably bring would be like swim gear, and this would be for looking at the many marine species, the coral reefs that started to appear near the shallower ends in the Silurian period. And finally, the third item we'd probably bring would be an oxygen tank, because we both decided that there would probably be a lack of oxygen in the atmosphere due to the coming of plants, and there being so few plants that there's probably not enough oxygen for us to survive.
So this is our bibliography with all of our sources of information.
And that concludes our presentation for the Silurian period.